David, Alison, Niall y Alan, a cada una de las autoridades, tanto navales del Uruguay como de la Embajada Británica, que sabemos que están representados acá, y a todos ustedes, cada uno de ustedes, por haber venido y por vuestra presencia aquí. We'd like to welcome especially Alison, Niall, David and Alan for having come all the way from England for this very special occasion, which would not have taken place, I don't think, if it hadn't been that we knew you were going. It is a very special moment given that they are here representing their families after 40 years of the Royston tragedy. And as we explained, most of the service will take place here, and then we will move across after the minute's silence to the graveside where the flowers will be taken and a closing prayer will be said. The messages delivered today will be in English except for one which will be in Spanish. And now I'm going to invite Michael Holder, who is John Holder's son. As many of you remember, John only passed away shortly a few months ago. And he was the owner of Holder's at the time when the tragedy occurred. And so it's a privilege and a pleasure to be able to welcome Michael. And he would like to say a few words. And also welcome, where are they? The Collingwoods, George and Martin Collingwood from Argentina, who are also ex-Holder's people and who are here with us today. So thank you, George and Martin, for being with us. Welcome. Over to you.
I'm here for myself. But most of all, most importantly, I'm here for my father, who couldn't come. John Holder died just before his 96th birthday in February this year. He would have come. He knew, first and foremost, the crew members of the Royston. And he knew, or knew of, most of the people here. He felt the loss most keenly. I spoke to him on the phone just after the news came 40 years ago. We lost a fine, fine crew. Passengers in our care and a fine ship. The pain of loss is with us all. While it is, the lost ones live in our hearts. So treasure it and give thanks. May God go with you all.
Good morning. My name is Alan Beer, and I'm Arturo Beer's youngest son, who was 18 years old when the accident occurred. I am standing in for my father, whom I know would have been here on this very special day. Wednesday, May 10th, 1972, was a normal autumn day in the year, only too warm. No storm was brewing in the area, but as normal during this period, it was very chilly. I recall sitting at home that evening with my parents, as we did normally after work, chatting about different things. At a certain stage, my father mentioned that he wanted an early dinner as the next morning. He had to rise early as the Royston Range was arriving from one side on the northbound voyage. That night, a heavy fog phone rang and we all woke up. It was a call from a man called Simonetti, the memory we must recall, who was the lookout at the control tower of the Port of Montevideo, who was always in touch with my dad before the arrival of the different coal ships that called into Montevideo. After speaking very briefly with this man, my father turned to my mother and exclaimed, "Oh my God, there is trouble in the river, and all I hope is that the Royston is on this side of the incident, so we can receive it today as all the load is arranged." When he got off, he explained that the lookout told him that there had been an accident and that all he could see was an orange glow on the horizon, but he had no information on the name of the ships involved. After a few minutes, he again received a phone call in which he was informed that a tanker named Tianchi, bound for Buenos Aires, had collided with a British ship called Royston Grange. And as a result of this, there was fire on board both ships. Help from the navies of both Uruguay and Argentina and other vessels in the area was immediately on the spot. But unfortunately, as all of us here know, the disaster developed in a tragic way. Today is a day of remembrance, during which we should all meditate and think of all those who are no longer with us and cherish the good moments we spent with them. Thank you all for being here today. God bless us all. Thank you.
Hace unos días, cuando acepté la propuesta de Cintia para decir las palabras hoy en nombre de los ex-hombres de Uruguay, me asaltó la duda de si mi memoria estaría a la altura de las circunstancias. Lo cual confesé a mi querido amigo y compañero por más de 25 años en la empresa, Federico Sandoval, quien me ayudó a refrescarlo. Jamás pensé que fueran tantos y que pudieran surgir tan fluidamente, casi a galope de Dios, desde el lugar donde estaban guardados en mi mente y muy especialmente dentro del mi corazón. Hace 40 años, la navegación comercial difería mucho de la actual, en que los grandes buques portacontenedores regalan pocas horas en el puerto. Por el contrario, los buques reefer, en el viaje de bajada en que venían con las bodegas repletas de carga general, cierro los ojos y veo aquellas muy particulares camaretas de Royston, repletas de cajas de whisky, y permanecían en el puerto de Montevideo 2 o 3 días para la operación de descarga de las mismas, para luego proseguir viaje hacia su destino final de Buenos Aires. 8 o 10 días después, regresaban ya en su viaje hacia el norte para completar su bodega sabora sin refrigerar, con carne, manteca y citrus, operación que tomaba normalmente 2 o 3 días. Esas prolongadas estadías permitían que la interacción entre la tripulación y los agentes se forjaran vínculos de verdadera amistad. Eran tiempos de muelles pavimentados con adoquines de piedra que, al decir de los viejos portuarios, no solo moldeaban la planta de los pies, sino que también el carácter de quienes los transitaban. Recuerdo aquella fatídica mañana, la incertidumbre que se embargaba todo sobre qué había ocurrido. La primera noticia recibida vía los vigías Manzano y Simonetti, y luego la confirmación de la dimensión de la tragedia por las transmisiones de las naves afectadas a combatir el incendio. La denodada tarea de los tripulantes de los buques de la Armada Uruguaya y los remolcadores del NP y Reina, que llevaron a cabo una infausta tarea más allá de su deber y cumpliendo con la tradición marinera que los honra. También recuerdo perfectamente la llegada de los familiares que concurrieron al servicio funeral realizado en la Holy Trinity Church y al sepelio, Recuerdo el dolor y la perplejidad que nos embargaba a todos sin distinción en ese momento. Al resto Grace, ese hermoso ejemplo de la mejor arquitectura naval, con sus instalaciones de refrigeración de avanzada para la época, digno ejemplo de la obra sin par de aquel genio del transporte marítimo de cargas refrigeradas en todos sus estados, sólido, líquido y gaseoso, que fue John Howe. Al resto prefiero recordarlo por su reluciente casco pintado de negro, esa hermosa e inmaculadamente blanca casillería coronada por su gran chimenea negra, con una franja rosca con la cruz de Marta blanca adentro, y no por aquel montón de hierro retorcidos en que quedó convertido. Y para terminar, ahora sí apelando a los recuerdos guardados en mi corazón, con un especial recuerdo para el capitán Buffy, el Chief Officer Crowd, mi amigo el Catering Officer Bill Hagan, de quien por ser con lo que más trato tuve mantengo su imagen vivamente grabada en mi retina, deseo rendir mi emocionado homenaje a todos los que perdieron trágicamente la vida en aquella fatídica madrugada del 11 de mayo de 1972. Y también a todos aquellos que actuaron en la emergencia y ya no están más entre nosotros. Que Dios tenga a todos ellos en su santa gloria. Muchas gracias.
Los que perecieron en el Royston Ring. Adams, Andrew, Atkinson, Henry, Carter, John, Lassant, Lawrence, Bateman, Harold, Beverly, Dennis, Boothby, George, Brooks, Stephen, Bruce, Leonard, Burden, John, Campbell, Donald, Campbell, Jean, Collingham, Herbert, Craddock, Colin, Craddock, Jan, Craddock, James, Davis, Carlton, Dane, Almut, Dane, Lothar, Decker, Jacob, Edwards, Graham, Fairweather, James, Ferrand, Arthur, Finch, Nicholas, Flower, James, Garbini, Guillermo, Hagen, Williams, Hagen, Valentine, Hagen, Teresa, Hamley, Paul, Hamilton, David, Harrison, Philip, Hartnell, Stephen, Harvey, Peter, Paulie, Michael, Hollis, David, Hurley, John, James, Andrew, Dury, George, Johnson, Gary, Kincaid, John, Leach, Rosa, Lee, Raymond, Lewis, David, Lyon, Robert, MacDonald, Alexander, MacDonald, Eugene, McCritchie, John, McClellan, Thomas, McCulloch, Donald, McIntyre, James, Miller, David, Mills, Roy, Morris, George, Nolan, Colin, Platt, Donald, Potterton, David, Hull, Grace, Revell, David, Soames, Brian, Teppit, Terence, Thurl, John, Third, Stewart, Thomas, Brian, Townsend, William, Tracy, Stanley, Prihani, John, Prihani, Monica, Walsh, Eric, Watkins, Hugh, Watkinson's Reginald, Weatherburn, Clive, Williams, Ronald, Wright, Peter. We also remember the 8 crew members of the TNG who perished and whose names are not known to us. También recordamos los 8 tripulantes del TNG que perecieron y cuyos nombres no nos son conocidos.
chapter 21, verses 1 through 7. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or tears from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, from the order of things have passed away. Who was seated on the throne said, I am making everything new. Then he said, Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. He said to me, It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To him who is thirsty, I will give to drink without cost from the spring of the water of life. He who overcomes will inherit all this, and I will be his God, and he will be my son. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. Who's planning to come out to Uruguay? Alison was a 12-year-old on that fateful 11th of May of 1972. And their brother, Robert, was 16. Robert today is in England and is not here. They were a close-knit family and proud of Stuart, the eldest of three, who won a scholarship to go to the Nautical College in Hull when he was only 13. Stuart's 23rd birthday had been que ustedes, cada uno, se sienta más cómodo. We're going to pray the Lord's Prayer, each one in the language that we feel more comfortable. Our Father,